Hi, Timothy. Thanks for making the time to call.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Hey, congratulations on the new album. It is a great collection of songs. And it kind of feels like you picked up where Expando, which was your last album, left off. I was just curious, what time frame were these songs written? Was it a span of several years? Are they more recent compositions?
Yeah, well, first of all, you're right. I kind of looked at this, after I put this album together, it seemed to me like it was almost a sister album to Expando, my previous album. The time frame, which plays right into the time frame, I suppose, because I never really stopped writing after Expando, and I just kind of kept it up. But that was a long period of time for a couple of reasons. One being that I'm not particularly fast at songwriting. I really take my time and mull things over, and it's really great if a song comes quick, but it's kind of rare. The other reason it took so long is that I was touring a lot. Basically, I was touring a lot with the Eagles, especially the last couple of years of its existence, and it took. I had to sort of do it, in between times. So I would have a little time off at home, and I would, or wherever I ended up, and I would sort of decompress and then start writing and or recording for this record. So it really does span a few years.
Now, I know you have a lot of special guests, again, like you did before, but I understand there's no co-writers. All the songs were written by you?
That's right.
Oh, that's great. And also with your last album, I remember it was important to you to have everyone come to your home studio as opposed to doing any file sharing. Was Leap of Faith recorded the same way with everyone coming to you?
That's correct. Everybody came here. Most of the album really is the majority of it is done by my co-producer, Hank Linderman, and myself. And then when I did have people come in, I just don't like to share files, at least for my project. I've worked on other people's records out of my studio and sent them off to their studio. That's pretty common these days. But I really need to have the human interaction to say that's great, or like, could we change this, or could you try this? It's really important to me. So yeah, it was done the same way. It's in the same studio. I just keep doing it.
Exactly, if it's working. And you mentioned Hank. I know he's been a part of your touring band. He plays on the album. He's helped produce and engineer. How important is it to you to have someone like that gets what you're doing and can give you the results that you're looking for when you want it, the way you want it to sound?
Well, it's of ultimate importance. First of all, you have to have good chemistry. You have to be able to get along and to be able to not take anything personally. Like sometimes he'll have a great idea, and sometimes it's an idea that may not be bad, but it's not what I want. Like for instance, he's a great guitar player. He's an accomplished guitar player, and sometimes he's just too good. So I'll either ask him to dumb it down, or I'll play it. That will assure things. We're a really good team. We complement each other, and he does realize that it is my album, and that my name's going to be on the front, and he aims to please, and he's so good at his craft, and not just musicianship. He's really one of the better engineers around, and so he knows how to do it. He just knows the technical side so well that I couldn't have asked for anybody better.
Well, that's a blessing to have someone that not only is a good person that you get along with, but also that is talented in the studio and, knows how to get the sound that you're looking for. I want to talk about the songs. I Refuse. I got to see your Nashville show a few weeks ago. And
you did?
I did. And
oh, wow, great.
I Refuse was a real rocker live. I loved it. On the album, you've got Benmont Tench from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers on keyboards. Good to see him making a return on this album. But what surprised me was on the album you have Taylor Hawkins from the Foo Fighters on drums. How did you end up working with him?
Well, it was great. Taylor, is an acquaintance of mine, a friend, and he actually lives probably, if he got in his car right now, he'd be here in 15 minutes.
So he's a neighbor.
So we're sort of neighbors. And I just, the song is pretty much straight ahead rock. And, Taylor, that's the kind of guy Taylor is. He's a very excitable, wired guy, and very good energy. And I called him and said, what do you think? And he just jumped at the chance. He said, when are we going to do this? Let's do it now, So that was a lot of fun.
It's not a combination I would have, I wouldn't expect to see someone from the Foo Fighters on your album, but it sounds great. And in the beginning of the song, it stops and then it starts and then there's like a little yell. Who is that? I'm just curious in the beginning.
That is Taylor.
Oh, okay.
It was taken from, it was so great that Hank lifted a little piece of it. It was a mistake he made. He made a mistake and he groaned. So it was, I don't know, somewhere in the heart of the song, and since he overdubbed the drums, we just took that one measure and made it the front of the song.
So that was Hank's doing. That's great. That's what makes listening to the whole album enjoyable to me, to hear those little things. So I love that you left that in there.
Yeah, good.
You talk about, in that song, you talk about staying in the here and now and being in the present tense. And there seems to be kind of a thread running through this whole album about enjoying every moment. And at the end of the album, in the song This Waltz, you even talk about you can't take one moment for granted. And that's just a beautiful sentiment. I was wondering if you consciously set out to do that, to have a common thread about enjoying the here and now, or does that just come natural for you?
It was not a conscious effort, but I'm acutely aware of the importance of trying to stay present and trying to enjoy every moment. Especially, life is so fragile, as we've seen with Glenn, for instance, who just now is just not on the earth anymore. It's just, which was a shock, and you just don't know how long you have. We don't know what's going to happen, but you've got to try to really try and enjoy this blessing of life that we have. I suppose it's a thread in my own life that I try to be conscious of. So I'm not surprised that it shows up in my music.
Well, I love the positivity of it. We do need more of that. The focus track, Red Dirt Road, I want to ask you about that. Again, some notable special guests. John McPhee of the Doobie Brothers on fiddle, Van Dyke Parks on accordion, and you've got Herb Peterson on background vocals, who might not be a household name, but he's a heavy hitter and so highly respected in the industry. Now, is it just you and Herb on the background vocals of that song?
Yeah, it is. It is. He sang the top part, and I sang the melody and the part just under that, yeah.
And I understand you're referring to the soil being rich and red in Hawaii, but is this about a specific location that you're singing? Tell me a little bit about the song.
I would say the setting came from there. Mm-hmm. I guess the title came from that, the Red Dirt Road. I actually for a long time called this song Kauai, but I just took that part. I took that parentheses out. So that's the setting. The song really is about tending to business, and so that you can have some R&R. That in a very simple way to put it. That's kind of what it is. It's about being able to let go, but not before you take care of what you need to take care of. I'm pretty sure I started this song when I still had one or two kids still at home, where you really have to pay attention and do the best you can with your children, and then like it says, once we were young and wild,
right.
Things are different now. Now you have certain responsibilities. You got to keep your eye on, and then at the appropriate time, go as let yourself go a little bit, That's kind of what that's all about.
All right, let's listen to it now. Timothy B. Schmit, Red Dirt Road, from his new album Leap of Faith, on the home of rock and roll, I-95.